Hey guys, Sean here. We have talked endlessly about the rise of a new reserve currency, and this time Russia's making bold moves to make it happen. It's why they are proposing to develop their own gold exchange using their own rules. We know that the US dollar is the dominant currency today, almost 60% of countries hold it in their reserves. Everything is priced in dollars and we can't escape it. If you want to buy oil and gas, if you want to import food, you need the US dollar. This situation benefits America the most and Russia isn't too happy. And that's why this new announcement is quite shocking and it outlines Russia's two-step plan to establish a new currency to compete with the United States. I think we need to pay attention to this because this just came out of left field. It's sudden and it shows Russia is taking this financial war to the next level, and I don't want us to be caught off guard. So according to this article on Kitco, Russia's Ministry of Finance sent a letter to their industry participants proposing a new international standard for precious metals. That is step 1. And then fixing the prices of gold and silver to their national currencies or a new monetary unit, perhaps the BRICS reserve currency. And that is step 2. Now this is very big because it clearly outlines a concrete roadmap Russia can take to challenge the LBMA first, the gold exchange in London, and then after that go after the US dollar down the road. So if you're a gold investor, this should be very exciting because we all know what the LBMA does with their paper contracts and how the system is set up. There's an insane amount of paper gold floating around for every physical ounce on earth, and this blocks the true price discovery of physical gold. Now I have to state that this is all up in the air right now. It's still an idea, but you could really see that this is a feasible plan. Russia is playing to their strengths, and that is weaponizing their commodities against the West. They are sick of the LBMA banning Russian gold, and they are tired of the price of gold being controlled by the West. Now just imagine sitting on a literal gold mine, but the prices of your gold reserves are determined by a bunch of banks in New York and London, and it's a tough pill to swallow, and I think Russia wants out. So here's the deal. The finance ministry said it is critical to create the new Moscow World Standard MWS to normalize the functioning of the precious metals industry and have an alternative to the LBMA. Now this tells us a few things. Russia is aware of how much power the LBMA has. We have discussed in a previous video that almost 50% of the gold trade really happens in the LBMA. Now that is an insane amount of power. And if you didn't know by now, the LBMA has been hammering away at Russian gold. They banned Russian gold for entering the London market, so Putin is finding an alternative to sell his gold. But as you can see from the chart, 85% of the gold market is controlled by the West, the LBMA and the COMEX, and there's only so much you can sell to China. So they probably sat down and they thought about it. Why don't we create our own gold exchange? And the letter further goes on to say the new basis of this new structure will be a new specialized international precious metals brokerage headquartered in Moscow, which will rely on the MWS. And this is what I think the West truly isn't prepared for. Imagine the hell that will be unleashed when now there's another exchange up and running. We will have countries comparing the prices of gold in the West versus the East, and this means now Russia can sell their gold on the international markets without being at the mercy of the US or the UK. And for you and me, that's great news because now there's going to be real price discovery coming to the precious metals real soon. If Russia really allows for redemption of physical gold on a one-to-one basis, then we could see the LBMA house of cards really start to collapse. Now Russia can pull this off because they are the second largest producers of gold and the largest is China, and guess what? They are friends. It's like a new alliance coming together to challenge the West, and the battleground is the gold market. And I want us to take a step back and really think about it. We know the paper price sets the pricing for the physical metal. It doesn't make sense, but it's what's happening today. So we have Russia and China sitting on these crazy amounts of gold stockpiles. We are talking about the gold in their ground and the gold bars in their vault. But the price is set by the West, right? Russia and China, they don't really have a say. They don't have a seat on the table. And we need to slowly track the progress on the Russian exchange because I don't believe it's just all talk, right? The Russians have nothing left to lose and they want to be able to sell their gold to raise cash. So instead of being a vendor who's unwelcome at the table, they are just going to create the entire marketplace themselves. So to break the LBMA or at least challenge it, Russia will need to attract big members to fix the price of gold. It's the exact same thing as the London Gold Fix, where a bunch of banks come together to decide what the price of gold is. But this time, it'll be a bunch of countries with huge amounts of gold reserves doing the fixing. Now, Russia's looking to rope in India, Venezuela, Peru, and most importantly, China as well. China is the world's biggest producer of gold, and Peru has the world's largest silver reserves. So just imagine a situation where the largest producers of precious metals now have the ability to fix the price of their own production. Do you think they're going to price it high, or do you think they're going to price it low? Really something to think about. And I think a lot of us aren't prepared for how fast this whole situation can turn. I know a lot of people who aren't invested in gold and silver yet. Prices are dropping down. I think we are at $17.50 gold today and $19 silver, and we might not see such a bargain down the road again. Remember, inflation is still going to be around. Even if it magically falls to 2 or 3%, it is still inflation. Plus, if this Moscow gold standard, this gold exchange really becomes a reality, then we'll get a real price discovery of gold and silver. And we really don't know how high it will get. Maybe gold will be at 3 or 4 grand. Maybe silver might hit $50 again. Who knows? So let's say this new Moscow gold exchange wants to break up the LBMA or the COMEX. How are they going to do it? Simple. They have to set up a situation where it is profitable for people to buy gold and silver from the Western exchanges and sell it in the Russian exchange, and that is called an arbitrage window. So what Russia can do is to fix the price of physical gold at say $2,000 an ounce using the new BRICS currency. And then you have the gold at the LBMA trading at let's say $1,800. Now it makes sense for people to buy physical gold bars from the LBMA at $1,800, sell them to the Russian exchange for 2 grand, and then pocket the $200 profit difference. So this will rinse and repeat until the LBMA is out of physical gold and the international price will skyrocket. Russia can then either just fix the price of gold higher or just sit back and watch the gold price find its true value. It's really the exact same thing as a big company cutting their prices to bankrupt small businesses and then flipping it around and having a monopoly on the market. But the real agenda really isn't just repricing gold. That is a stepping stone to what they probably want. What I suspect Russia is trying to do is to dethrone the US dollar, or at least they want to diminish the dollar's importance. You see, by having all these countries sell their gold to Russia for rubles or the new currency, they are forcing it into circulation globally. Countries and traders will now be holding the new currency, which can be used to purchase other commodities from Russia or the BRICS countries. I think they have come to the realization that they can't fight the West when it comes to technology or free enterprise, but they can win when it comes to commodities because everyone needs them, right? You need oil and gas, you need copper and iron, and you need grain and wheat. And with this new reserve currency, you can purchase these commodities at a discount from Russia, China, India, and all these BRICS countries. And this is the real game changer, guys. I believe the gold exchange is just a sideshow. This is the trial test to see if the world will bite and abandon the dollar for cheaper oil and cheaper food. At least in my opinion, I think this might come true. We already have countries like India buying cheap Russian oil, so if the rest of the commodities go on sale, I'm sure many countries will jump on board. And this is what we need to be prepared for. If the dollar really gets diminished even further, then a lot of bad things can happen to the markets. We will see less demand for US bonds and yields will start to spike. All dollar holders will get their assets devalued, and this could start a deadly spiral out of dollars. Remember, right now we are seeing a big rush to dollars because it is the slowest ship to sink. People perceive it to be strong, but the situation can always reverse and reverse fast. So I really want us to prepare for what's to come. This isn't a figment of your imagination. Russia is really trying to make moves to survive and also strike back against all these sanctions. It is an existential crisis for them, and if they decide on this course of action, they could really see it all the way to the end. And if you aren't prepared, and if you haven't been stacking gold, really think about getting some. We are in a period of asset deflation where everything in price is crashing, and this is really a godsend, but it won't last forever. We won't know what the price of gold will be in the next 5 or 10 years, but if I had to guess, it'll be quite likely higher than $2,000. In fact, I think the price of every single hard asset will rise because this money printing game will never stop. So let's keep track of this Russian gold exchange, because if this becomes a reality, I believe precious metals will never be the same. We could finally see a true price discovery. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Will the Russian gold exchange succeed, and is the US dollar in deep trouble? Let me know in the comments below. Stay safe and be sure to smash the like button and subscribe as we navigate through these crazy times.